Welcome, everybody. It's your boy, the Versace Stunner, with another episode of VSW. Thank you. It's your boy here, the Versace Stunner, alongside
with the Serpolf here,
with another very exciting episode of VSW. Tonight is a very special edition. We are talking with the leader of the Scrungy Squad, Becca. We're waiting for her call as we speak. But let me just tell you a little bit about, things. Last night,
and fortune favors the bold, Versace.
Yep.
She did a great job. She really did. She pulled off the opening match victory over New England wrestling legend Davey Ann.
She did. And, I believed in her. That was my pick for that match. And, I think that, I knew she was going to win it. I know there was a lot of people doubting her. And, yes, Davey Ann is the gatekeeper of New England. Well, guess what? There's a new leader in town, and that's the leader of the Scrungy Squad. That is Becca. Like I always have said, no matter the promotion, no matter where she is, she's winning everywhere.
Absolutely, Versace. As Randy Carver and John Albert posted on their weekly Limitless podcast before their pay-per-view last night, they talked about people like Love Doug, and Becca was one of them, about the people who really used the pandemic to their advantage. Becca, is, especially for the females, has really been taken off.
She really has. From the first time I saw her in 2020, it was early on. It was right before the pandemic struck, and it was at NCW. She was in the Ballroom Blitz, and she came out. There was a bunch of wrestlers of high caliber in there. You had Isana, you had Paris Van Dale, you had Little Mean Kathleen, and a whole bunch more. That was the first time I was introduced to Becca. And from then on in, I was just like, wow, she's really good. And then the pandemic struck, and we didn't see or hear much of anything from any wrestling until, I started to see Limitless doing their weekly shows. And that got us reintroduced to Becca, the leader of the Scrungy Squad, and then NCW started with their weekly shows as well behind closed doors. So between the road and behind closed doors, we've gotten to see a lot of Becca. And then we got to see her also in Chaotic. She's been ruling there. She was previously champion.
And she does wrestle occasionally in Top Rope Promotions too, Versace.
Top Rope. She's all over New England. Like I said, we're just waiting on her call right now. She is going to be calling momentarily. I was just talking to her via Twitter. But yeah, last night, Limitless, what can I say about it? What a tremendous show. I'm not going to go too much into detail as we are doing a full recap of it. There was a lot of big matches last night. I think a few upsets, just a great night, though, for independent wrestling. It was what it was all about. Now, you got to watch it last night with me, Disabled Wolf. Normally, you sometimes have to work or do other sporting events on Sundays or Saturdays whenever Limitless runs their shows, so you hadn't always been able to watch it live with me. What'd you think of it last night?
I thought it was amazing. I was very happy to be live with you. It is, everything makes the road very, very charismatic. It makes it must-watch TV because all the storylines played into it well. And it was very different than my predictions, as the great Randy Carver always sees to keep people guessing. As we are trying to guess who's going to be in the mystery show, I don't want to get too into it because I don't want to get one prediction right and some people think we're leaking stuff. You know what I mean, Versace?
Yeah, exactly. And I honestly don't have any information to leak.
Oh, I know it. None of us do. No one knows except for Randy Carver himself.
Nope, that is it. Maybe John Alba has the inside scoop, but you know his lips are sealed. He's not saying a peep. This whole show coming into Maine is going to be a mystery show. I don't know what to expect. I don't know who I'm going to see. And you know what? I can't be more excited for that. It's going to be a tremendous time. I mean, we're going to be sitting up close and really get to see all the excitement that we've been watching all through the pandemic, but now live in front of us.
Absolutely, Versace. I can focus more on indie wrestling, especially since, unfortunately, both Boston teams.
And here we go, baby. Hello.
Hello. Is
Well,
this
Becca.
Versace Stoner?
How you doing, Becca?
Great. How are you?
We are doing great. We were just talking about last night's Limitless event. Favorite Fortunes the Bold, and how you
Excellent match, by the way.
and how you beat Davey and how you've just been ruling through New England over the last year.
Oh my gosh. I wouldn't call it that, but I appreciate that.
I mean, no, maybe not, but I mean, you've held gold in Chaotic. You're holding gold in NCW. You've done a good record on the road.
Yeah. I guess the road is the season's coming to a close. I haven't thought about the road in a while. But yeah.
Yeah, because it was all taped previous. It's not like it's being done every week.
Yeah, kind of a while ago, so it's kind of funny.
Rewatching the matches now.
Yeah.
But I have to say, that kind of wrestling on the road, behind closed doors,
It
Reloaded.
really helps people like me get into the indie scene because it's not just show after show. It gives a purpose to these things and watch characters grow on screen.
It gave a good opportunity for, wrestlers alike to, do their promotions, build storylines with other wrestlers. We've seen it with you. You had, with Davey, you got Love Doug and Ava. You got a lot of stories unfolding. And that normally doesn't get to happen so fast with just, monthly show to show to show.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I think also, I'm so new that the road was, an opportunity for me to kind of up before, a bigger show.
Yeah.
Which, might not have happened if the road didn't exist, because I wouldn't really have that kind of opportunity. So, yeah, the road has been great for me.
Yeah, I was telling...
Every season.
I was telling Disabled Wolf here, he wasn't able to go to the show, but the first time I laid eyes on you in the ring was actually at the NCW's season opener of 2020.
When the fire alarm went off?
When the fire alarm went off, and yeah, we're in the ballroom.
Oh my gosh.
And it was so long ago, you had the big basic Becca gimmick going. It was right before the Scrungy Squad really took off. And it's just, amazes me to see, you were great then, but just from then till now has been such a transformation.
Yeah. Yeah, I still get, billed as Basic Becca sometimes, and I don't mind it. I'm just a person at this point.
Yeah. So, let's tell us about stuff. You say you're new to it. When did you actually start getting into wrestling?
So I started training, just over 2 years ago. And I, started wrestling, singles around January of last year, so 2020.
Okay.
Yeah, so not very long. And then, before then, I'd only been watching wrestling for, maybe a year, before I started training. So, very new.
So not a lifelong fan, not someone that grew up, as a kid into a wrestling family. Nothing like that.
I think, like, maybe I had some friends who were into it, but I think I, like, might have watched a little bit when I was younger, but I just, like, didn't really get into it
Now,
then.
if I'm correct, you started off at where? Bell Time? Or was it always New England Academy?
Sorry, I lost you. What did you say?
When you started training, am I correct by saying you started at Bell Time?
Yes, I did.
Under Bu Knows Best.
Yep.
And then from there on, you went on to New England Pro Academy?
Yeah, that's correct.
Very nice, very nice. A lot of prestigious wrestlers have come out of there, as you've probably been told.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm sure Chase will remind you, as he reminded me the other day that he taught you your swift, stiff super kick.
Yep.
So
Chase's super kick
yeah,
doesn't compare to.
I want to know, where'd you learn that flip last night?
That moonsault was amazing.
I have been working on that for a while. Yeah, we have, like, crash pads at the school.
Yep.
So after class, I just mess around on the pads, and yeah, I've been working on that since before January.
Oh, so a while. Hey, it came out
so,
great. I mean, it looked great.
So a long time.
It was executed perfectly.
Thank you.
And I mean, like I said,
Thank you.
It couldn't have been a better opening match to the event. You know, we
Thank
here
you
at
very
the VSW, you know, we love independent wrestling. It's a known fact. And we love to sponsor shows and help them out, especially after this pandemic. It's been horrible. And, you know, every show we picked have just been, like, dynamite, just killing it.
Not on TNT on Wednesdays.
No, not that kind of dynamite disable. But, yes, you know, and this one delivered just as well. So let me ask you, let's go back a little backtracking. So, you know, like you said, you started your first match in January 2020. I probably saw you, I think it was around March or April 2020. And then, like, the world shut down. What did you do about it? Like, I mean, the wrestling, you had barely just got off your feet.
Yeah, I had a pretty hard time with it. I was starting to get booked. And so when everything shut down, that was pretty hard. I just tried to, like, find ways to stay productive. Like, just kind of stay focused on, like, my fitness. And also, like, promos. I tried to, like, my social media presence was, like, terrible before the pandemic. So I tried to, like, work on that.
Definitely got up there. Definitely
and
Instagram's moving.
yeah,
Twitter's back.
like,
you know, takes time to work on the social media. And honestly, it's a weird rhythm. Like, you could post the greatest thing in the world, but somebody else could post something and it just takes off for no reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely seen your presence on social. Definitely. And I remember the early, like, pandemic, you were doing some fitness kind of promos.
Mhm.
And then it moved more into the scrungy, and it's even been better now. I think with just the storylines integrated, and depending on which match you are and who you're against, whether it's Paris Van Dale or
Ashley Vox,
or what's going on with NCW in the title and Little Mean Kathleen,
Aizana.
Yep, the whole crew.
Always a great time at NCW. One of my favorite promotions. Probably my first promotion that got me into indie wrestling. I've been always a wrestling fan since I grew up, and like since I was 2, I was watching WrestleMania 3 or 2, whatever which one it was.
I was watching the Mania in Boston when Stone Cold faced Shawn Michaels Undertaker. That was my first time I've ever got exposed, and I fell in love with the whole wrestling.
But then I really started getting, and I came from a boxing background, amateur boxing. I did a lot of that, and I I'm still looking to actually get into professional wrestling a little bit. Not something heavy duty, but something more, something that I could do once a year or twice a year, put on a show. But besides all that, I started getting into the indie scene around 18, I want to say. And that was through NCW. And I just fell in love with the indie scene since then. I've just been following it around. And that's why I started my Twitter, just to get... I noticed one thing, and like, a lot of the independent wrestlers don't have a Twitter presence. If they do, it's very minimal. And so my whole thing on Twitter was just to build up other people's accounts and get them noticed, get people to follow them. I mean, if they're following me, why can't they follow one of the wrestlers? Why can't they follow the champion of a New England promotion? They should be.
Right.
And my whole goal too is, because I'm from Boston, big sports fan. Obviously, a lot of people that watch sports used to watch wrestling back in the old days, as you know. And I'm trying to someday hopefully get people to follow their local promotions as much as they do their 4 major Boston sports teams. That's my long-term goal.
That's awesome.
But, we're in New England. We have a very rich indie wrestling community. A lot of promotions, a lot of things taking off. What are you looking forward to most in the future? Where are you looking to? Are you looking to expand outward anywhere?
Yeah, I really would like to travel outside of New England. There's like a lot of great wrestling, just like women's wrestling happening in like Texas and the Midwest and like Las Vegas.
Oh, definitely stuff in Las Vegas, yeah.
And Florida, and I just would really like to like travel more, and I'm like vaccinated, and yeah, I'm like ready to kind of like expand outside of New England. Like eventually I'd really love to like leave the US and go to like Japan and Germany and the UK. I don't know if that's like not really an option yet, but eventually.
Right now, I don't know if the world is ready and open for all of that fun, but I'm
maybe
sure in the future.
We'll see what's going on. We'll see what travel restrictions are like in a year.
Look at someone like Jody Threat, who couldn't wait to come here because they couldn't wrestle in Canada.
Yeah.
I know.
It's been a crazy ride with just the restrictions and just, what can be done and what will be done and what the future is going to be,
right.
for anybody. A year ago, I couldn't even have interviews with people because nobody even knew if they were going to wrestle again.
Right.
It was kind of a scary time, actually, at this time last year, just with, I was watching schools close, I'm watching buildings close, I'm watching potential, promotions go under.
Mm-hmm.
I did everything in my power to support the talent. I bought way too many T-shirts, but yeah, I'm a merchaholic. I won't lie. I always buy the merch, don't I, Disabled?
Oh, hell yeah, more than me.
Every time I go to a show, I come out with a handful of autos, something. They always get me for something.
You know what? Me too. I just picked up Catch a Body's T-shirt.
It's
a good one.
Competition.
You want to? As soon as he told me about that shirt, Connor Murphy, I actually pre-ordered all 3 colors. I was like, you know what? I'll do one. He was like, what color do you want? I was like, I can't decide. I was busy at work. I was like, you know what? Just give me one of each. And you know what? Sure enough, I paid the money and sure enough, all 3 came. I was like, wow, I bought 3 of the same shirt in 3 different colors. But
I got red and gold.
The red one is nice. That goes with most of my clothing. I do have a few things that will go with the blue, and the purple will just be for, like, my crazy Zubaz pants. But, yeah. I love merch. I like to support. If that's the way I can support the talent, then you know what? All for it. I get to wear their stuff. I get to wear cool T-shirts. I get to get, cool autographs, and they get to get some money in their pockets that they might have not have had a chance to make otherwise that night. It's a win-win situation
that's awesome.
for me. I don't look at it as an expense. I look at it as it's just whatever it is. Helping out.
Is there
Well,
any dream match you have in the future, whether it's someone mainstreamed or even someone in the indie scene, whether it's a guy or a girl? You can have more than one. It's all good. Good.
Chris Stat. Yeah.
That would be
Roche Chanel.
Oh, that would be another tremendous match.
There's so many great women that I would love to wrestle.
Maybe
and
that could
too.
happen by the end of the year with Chris Stratt. Who knows? Because she did wrestle in a Chicago indie show she was champion at. She does have a history in Limitless.
We've seen her in Limitless. We've seen her at Beyond. She could be at any of those Beyond women's shows if Drew makes the right phone call.
Right.
That could be.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
That would be an amazing match. She's a very great. She's a very great person. I can say that. Chris is very nice. Not just in the ring as a wrestler and talent wise. She's a really nice person. Like, I met her a few times.
That's awesome.
She's nice to talk to. She's very friendly with the fans, and especially the little kids. It's really always nice to see the little girls have someone to look up to at wrestling shows, because the boys always look up to somebody. But the little girls, sometimes they get lost. They don't know if they should be following, the guy or the girl. But when you see other women, interacting with the little girls and showing a positive message, it's really nice to see in, the wrestling world. Because I feel like I said, the females get lost a lot of the time. And it kind of cuts the fan base down. And they're a valuable fan base, as they're a valuable part of, wrestling now. I mean, maybe 50, 60 years ago, people didn't view women's wrestling as a real thing. Today, we have full women's shows. We have, it's to the sky. Women's wrestling is probably more popular than men's. And
I love the intergender wrestling. I think it's awesome and great.
It is.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I think it's great now. I feel like women's wrestlers used to just be oh, you're a women's wrestler, and now you can just be a wrestler who's a woman and be multiple different things. And I think Chris Stat's a great example of that, where she's a wrestler who's a woman, but she's really athletic, and she's quirky, and she does these power moves, but she's wears the face paint, and I don't know, she's all of these different things, and I think that's awesome.
Definitely not like women's wrestling was in the 80s, early 90s, that's for sure.
Right.
And you can tell stories for at least 10 minutes. I feel like women's wrestling in the mainstream in the past was just
matches thrown together, just title matches thrown for the sake of having a match.
Right. Yeah, it was the women's match.
And, and plus
and
now...
that's all it was.
Yeah, that's all it was. And, and I saw someone today that, I loved seeing this comment, too, and it was by Randy himself, I believe, and someone was what about unveiling a women's limitless title? And Randy was basically, no need. Any women can challenge for that title. It's not gender specific.
You might have had a women's champion already if the pandemic hasn't happened, as we were going to go see Anthony Green, who's now August Gray, obviously, defend that title against Chris Stratt before the world shut down.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, that was a pretty big match that we're getting set up to have, and then, we got a notification that we were safe, but tickets were shut off, and then we got another notification the whole show was closed, and we were oh.
Yeah.
Not good. But,
what could have been?
Exactly. I'm sure everybody, that Mania weekend, I know about 50 people that had their whole weekend planned, booked, 20 matches, some guys, and they couldn't even leave the couch. Horrible. I'm glad this year, and I'm glad to see everybody back to their busy weekend, 3 shows in 5 states kind of deal. It's good to see
it's really awesome.
back into it and really just, thriving in what their passion
The reason why I love Limitless and The Road as my favorite indie promotion, we have a lot of good ones here, don't get me wrong, is because not only just the storylines, is you see people that would be only on lower tier promotions and some that are at least travel across the country collide, and I think it's really great to see.
Yeah. Yeah, Limitless, always brings in people from different areas, and I think that's really awesome.
Yeah, they do a great job in just bringing in talent and just keeping the show fresh and never really stale.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been really loving, like, a lot of the talent they've been bringing in. Yeah, I really loved, on the show yesterday, Robert Martyr and
Ricky Archer.
Ricky Archer.
That was a great matchup.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of a new
That's really
person
good.
to watching. I've seen Archer, but I'm kind of new to Martyr, and I was really impressed with his style and the way he wrestles.
Kind of remind me like a Daniel Bryan or Drew Gulak type of style.
Yeah, it was definitely not something you see too much on the indie scene with all that grappling and technical wrestling. A lot of people just go for the big moves and to woo the crowd.
Right. Yeah, he's very, like, genuine, and I really like watching him wrestle. I'm excited to see what else he does at, like, Limitless, and now when I see him on cards at other shows, I'm like, oh, I should check that out. So it's exciting to see him.
Definitely been able to, like, Limitless has definitely been able to, like, introduce me to a whole
You
like,
got
set
some
of
comedy,
people.
seriousness, drama, romance. You got all that in Limitless promotion.
But it's definitely, like, set it up so I've, like, gotten to know talent I would have never otherwise known, and then I can, like you say, follow them from promotion to promotion. I just saw Blackwood down wrestling in Florida at the Fear the Gay Agenda show. That was a great show.
Oh, yeah.
I would love to get down there to one of those. They look wild and fun.
Yeah, that looks... That I saw clips from it.
I could see
It looked
why
wild.
I could see why you want to travel the world and wrestle the world. I can see that.
Yeah.
There is definitely a lot out there. But it's great to see, like I said, and we here at VSW, we love watching it all every week. So let me think here. I was gonna say, so we talked. You said you gave us your dream matches and what you want to do in the future. What about like the immediate future, like now? Like, I mean, obviously you're not gonna go to like Japan tomorrow, but you are holding you are holding titles. You are defending them at some point, I'm guessing. How are you going to continue your dominance around New England?
Yeah, I mean, I think I still have some unfinished business at Chaotic with Higher Society. So I am really just trying to stay on them and get that title from them. So that's like immediate future goal is I want the Higher Society belt.
You want that belt back?
Yeah. And
then we can call you what, Becca 2 belts?
Got the Becky 2 belts from when I went to Mania a few years ago somewhere.
Right?
Right. But I really enjoy tagging with AVN.
Yep.
We just work so well together. So I really like to keep working with her and see, what we can accomplish as a team.
So I think she'll respect you more after last night.
Yeah. And I think we're on the same page now.
Are you guys going to try and get Love Thug Ava back?
I think he's still running.
Like Forrest Gump.
I think that Love Doug, I think people underestimate what he's capable of. I think Ava she can be very terrifying, but I think that he can fend for himself out there. I think he's got it. I think he'll win her love.
Love can conquer all. That is for sure. Dude. He's another. The reason I met him, he's another one of my favorite breakout stars of the pandemic. I call it. Him and you both have shined through this, and like I said, like through the different promotions. It's not just one promotion. I can say. It's every promotion I turn on that I watch independently. I'm seeing either one or two of you being booked, and it's great. And like you said, you got this battle with Higher Society, and I think I've seen you guys fight in almost all the promotions now.
Yep.
So it's like it's like all through New England. It's great. I like to see the continuality of it all, and just how it plays out.
We just can't escape each other.
Nope. Destiny.
Right. Yeah, I think Love Doug is another one who was kind of like breaking out around the same time as me before the pandemic.
Yep.
And like also just kind of like made the most of the pandemic that he could, which is really awesome.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it must have been really hard for all you guys that had just started in that like class that just started your careers out, because you were getting the bookings, you were getting the notice, but then, there's nothing to do, and it's not like you're a known superstar that can like sit on your like footage from 5 years ago or matches you've had in the last 10 years. You have nothing to really show except new promos and like, a few matches you had. And you both did a great job of, captivating audiences and keeping them following through it all.
I think what everyone in common and your other co-workers in the wrestling industry, Limitless, we all got to be careful of a potential war between Randy Carver and John Alba.
It could really happen.
Someday John Alba could try to overthrow Randy Carver. Could happen.
He's up to something.
Oh,
really
yeah.
is.
I don't know if you saw the promo. I'm a little suspicious.
I would definitely be suspect of that.
Yeah.
You got to get your detective skills back on it and, see what he is doing.
Bring Detective Bex out of retirement to investigate John Alba.
He's trying to take Davey away and potentially maybe hurt your friendship. Who knows?
Who knows what kind of snake words he put in her ear. But, you got to keep an eye on that, because you and Davey do have something special. Like you said, you battled it out. Sometimes that has to happen between friends. It happened between Hogan and Macho Man. It happened between Hogan and Warrior. It happened now between Becca and Davey Ann. The Scrungy Squad had to explode to grow back together. And I think it will be. You guys could dominate the tag division.
I think so, too. And I hope we really get the chance to.
Unfortunately, MSP, came up a little
I think
short
they
in
just
their match.
passed. I don't think they tapped out. I think they just passed out, to be honest.
They did, but a loss is a loss. But who knows? Garcia kind of looked like he was happy to have a little bit of a tag team gloat. He might want more gold around his waist too. So who knows what will happen with that gold? But
yeah, seriously.
But yeah, we're gonna do our full recap later of last night's show. We do all the recaps. We love it. We love to watch, like I said, the independent shows. Always, it's more exciting. For me, it's more exciting than watching any of the WWE stuff or even the AEW stuff at this moment. I'm so invested in not even like the stories. I'm invested in the people. Like, I see their Facebook pages and I see their real life, and I'm like, wow, they're really doing this and doing this and doing this. Okay, yeah, I'm invested in them. Like, it's weird. It's on so much of the indie scene is so much more personal level than, like, the major scene. Like, even when you go to shows, you do get those meet and greet opportunities. You do get to, people do slap your hands when they run by you. You don't get that at major shows. The fans don't even hardly talk to you half the time.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. It's really great to hear you say that, and I know I appreciate your support and love seeing your content.
Great, we really appreciate it. I know you're just about out of time here, so we just want to say thank you for coming on the show, Becca. We really...
Scrunchy Squad for life.
Oh, I am wearing my scrunchie now around my wrist. And yes, we hope to see you continuing to dominate New England. Hopefully you get that higher society title back around your waist.
Thank you. I really appreciate your support. Thank you so much for having me on the pod.
You're welcome. Have a great night.
You too. Bye.
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 What a heart of the champion she is, Disabled Wolf. Oh, my God.
Absolutely. Very personal of us. This was a great interview. Didn't try to bash anybody like some of our other previous guests did.
There's no need to bash. There's no need to talk. But you also did not mention Chris Van Vliet.
Oh, no.
You didn't say that. Now,
I can't guarantee that in this mystery show if I see John Alva. I can't guarantee that.
I don't know what will happen there, but I know there will be more exciting Limitless Wrestling coming later your way when we do the full recap show of all the excitement that took place last night. Not just the Becca match, not the main event, but the whole shebang.
Fortune favors the bold.
But this has been a great interview. That, again, was, the leader of the Scrungy Squad, Becca. And she is the reigning NCW Women's Champion. She was the former Chaotic Women's Champion. And she will probably regain that title back when she gets her hands around Armani Chaos. But in the meantime, you know what to do. Stay locked into the VSW because there's a lot more excitement coming your way with podcasts. You got the Beantown Wolfcast.
Well, here's the thing, Versace, is that I've been very quiet. I want to focus more on the indie scene ever since the Bruins got knocked out. Obviously, the Celtics are knocked out. But I'm going to do a recap on where both teams go from here. And I'm trying to catch on my baseball, too.
Well, to be honest with you, I wouldn't even mind if you did a show. You know what? I always like to hear rumors. I like to hear sports rumors.
All right.
You should maybe do sports rumors, even if they're far-fetched. Get them out there just to hear it. It could be a barrel of laughs. Sometimes I like it. I heard one the other day that the Celtics were trying really hard to sign, what's his name there from L.A.
Who, the Celtics?
Yep. LeBron. They were going to... They said they were signing LeBron James for $1 million.
He's technically part owner of the Red Sox now with Fenway Sports Group, so who knows?
But you know what I told them? The guy that told me this, I said, I heard one better than that. I heard that they're not getting LeBron James. Why would they pay $1 million for somebody when all they have to do is pay $25,000? They can get the monster among men for any game they want. My God, what a day in NBA history that will be when you see Braun Strowman play for the Celtics.
Maybe he'll be in the Space Jam sequel with the monsters.
He will be in Space Jam the third. What a day. What a day. But thank you, everybody, for listening.
Thank you, everybody.
We will see you at our Limitless Recap show. Have a good night.
Disable out.